What's up, guys? Welcome to NMD TV, Canes all day. If you're rocking with you know what to do. Hit that like, subscribe button so you never miss out on a video. And big shout out to the Cane Gang, the members of the channel. I appreciate you guys for going above and beyond to support the channel. If you too want to join the Cane Gang, make sure you click that link in the pinned comments. Get extra videos. Get the members only podcast. We have a good time in the members only section. But today is Monday, so we listened to the Joe Rose interview with Mario Cristobal. If you want to listen to this interview by itself, the interview will be linked in the description, so make sure you check that out if that's something you're into. But I want to give my commentary. I'm glad you're here. Let's listen to what Coach has to say coming off of a bye week.
Coach for the Miami Hurricanes, Mario Cristobal, getting ready to start the second half of the season off the bye week. Time to head to Louisville, who's got a damn good football team themselves. Coach, good morning. How you doing?
Joe, good morning. Thanks for having me, man.
No, thanks for being on. Well, I've learned one thing after just being a college football junkie on Saturday. It doesn't matter who you are anymore, apparently, in the ACC as well as all the top teams, because it seemed like every game went down to the last drive. It was just incredible, especially Cal gives Pitt all they can handle. Georgia Tech and North Carolina was a wild one. Syracuse, NC State. Coach, it just looks like you almost get ready to tell your team, hey, man, we're going to have to continue. This is going to be a four-quarter no matter what the name on the back of the jersey is.
Yeah, and without a doubt, you hit the nail on the head. I mean, all these conference games, these are playoff games, right? And everybody's alive. Everybody's got a shot, so you're getting everybody's best. And just about everyone is coming down to the last drive, the last play, last possession, overtime. And you're also realizing that a lot of times more games are lost than they are won. And so it's so important to have really, really efficient, productive, and detailed weeks of preparation as you head into the second half.
Listen, I used to think it was coach talk, and I believe in the past it was coach talk when coaches said, hey, every week is a new challenge. Anybody can get beaten. Looking at this season, it has been proven that to be correct. I am the type of person that before we play somebody, I like to go look at their tendencies. I like to look at the scouting report. I like to look at their past games. But this season has been one of the first seasons where that does not matter. And I'm only going by this season. Teams are playing other teams different. I don't know if it's because the transfer portal has evened the talent out. I don't know what it is, but when you look at a Pitt and Cal, Pittsburgh undefeated. Cal ends up losing by a couple points. By the way, they went for two when they scored first. Don't know why they did that. Didn't get it. And Pitt ends up beating them. You look at, like Joe said, North Carolina is a team that's won one game. James Madison put 70 on them. So you think Georgia Tech is going to blow them out? No, it came down to a amazing run by the Georgia Tech Yellow Jackets, by their running back, that ended up breaking the game open for them to win by, I believe, one score. North Carolina was in it through the whole time. You saw South Carolina and Alabama, right? It does not matter what your logo is. It does not matter what your record is. If you do not come and play, you can be beaten. And before, when we said that, I said, yeah, but we can beat Cal. They lost to Florida State. And then Cal comes out and does some shit that I ain't never seen him do on film. Look like a total different team against us. And then I say, well, you know what? We gave up 30 points to Cal. We must be trash. Then I watch Mississippi State hang, 30-something on Big Bad Georgia. If you're not ready to play, you can't be beaten.
As you head into the second half of the season.
So you get to your goal, 6-0. You had your bye week. Talk a little bit about the bye week work and biggest things, Coach, for you to clean up when you talk to your team and the things you worked on.
Blocking and tackling. Blocking and tackling. Blocking and tackling needs to be improved.
Things you worked on.
Well, the most important thing is to look at the entire first half of the season with humility and acknowledge the things that we have done well, but more importantly, the things that must improve to continue to find a way to get to 1-0 every week. And it all, to me, it just stems from the fundamentals of football. As the season goes on, you can't allow them to deteriorate, and so blocking, tackling, throwing, catching, ball security, ball disruption are always at a premium. Communication and eye discipline and discipline, not only from a football and an execution standpoint, but self-control, right? Knowing what your reaction is before your reaction happens. So those are things that were not only attacked and addressed, but practiced and hammered away at. And then acknowledging that the entire country is going through a rash of injuries and that, our injuries aren't unique to us only. Everybody's going through them. That you have to have the next guys ready to play and not only just play and eat up space, they have to play winning football.
I don't know what we put on film, but one word, one phrase he just said caught my eye or my ears perked up. Eye discipline. I don't know what our linebackers put on film, but for some reason, teams now, they're going to motion the slot. I mean, I know motion is big now. Everybody's doing crazy type of motions, the orbit motion. But I'm watching the California game. I'm like, damn, they running a motion every play. And I think it's because something that we saw that maybe South Carolina exposed, our linebackers are they're going all out. And when they go all out the wrong way, instead of reading their keys first, their eyes are taking over. Instead of reading their keys, the ball's going the other way, and they're breaking long runs. So, yes, blocking, tackling, ball disruption, eye discipline is big.
Play winning football.
You said that last week, and it stuck with me for the week thinking about. You talked about we got to develop more guys, so when our starters go down, basically there isn't a huge drop-off. You can trust young guys. You don't care what age they are. You just want guys you can trust that can go out and keep going at a high level. So I was thinking about that. So how do you go about that? Especially, I know you've had two super talented classes, two of the best in the history of University of Miami football, and just trying to get those guys, those young guys, most of them still teenagers, or if not, just into their 20s. How do you get those guys caught up to some of these guys that have played a lot of college football?
Well, you put it first on the coaches. They've got to develop players. You've got to spend extra time. Players have to have an appetite for it. And you got to understand that, these aren't like those toys back in the day that say no assembly required. Those don't exist much anymore. Ruben Bain has some of that to him, right? CeCe Manoa has some of that to him, but they still need work to be good enough to be really good from the beginning. And a lot of these guys, it has to be you've got to force feed them. You've got to throw them out there. We had a ton of extra reps working our systems. And, you have some sit downs on one-on-one and say, listen, man, you weren't brought here to stand on the sideline beside me, but you got to get it done. So, and you put that, you create healthy competition, the right kind of competition, so that everyone understands that. Get on edge, stay on edge, and every single day to be really good, you got to fight for your opportunity and fight for your job.
Coaches.
And I love that Mario is not only, he's making that vocal, right? And I believe when you make something vocal, it makes the fan base pay attention more. If I am afraid of our young guys playing, I'm not going to bring it up because he doesn't have to bring it up. But him coming out to say it, and he said it multiple times throughout this year, the younger guys have to be ready to play because of the way that college football is nowadays, right? We just can't leave a Tyler Barron in every play, right? We're going to have to bring in you young bucks. And y'all are going to have to not just play, you got to make an impact. So I like that he said, look, the coaches, y'all got to develop them. The players got to have the appetite. I love that whole part of it. Now, what young guys are going to stand up? We know Elijah Lofton. We know Jordan Lyle. We know OJ, right? And I think, the last interview he said our young defensive line got in on a play and there was a play where the Kyle quarterback, I think it was on the play that he hit and Mish Powell ended up tackling the guy. And watching the game, I was thinking, how did he have that much time? When I go back and rewatch it, our second string defensive line was in. And by second string, I mean our young Moulton, number 44, I forget his name. Those guys was in the game. So he's saying, look, guys, when we put y'all in the game, y'all got to make plays. And then if y'all can make plays, that's going to make Ruben Bain better. That's going to make Tyler Barron better. That's going to make Elijah Austin better. That is going to make the Miami Hurricanes better now and heading into next season. Development is key. I love recruiting, but development is key.
Coaches, is more of it, we were all talking you and football and talking about some of the young guys, and I'll bring up a few names to you. How much of it is it physically? Because I saw some young guys physically make some plays at spring football, and you and I looked at each other and go, yeah, that guy should be still in high school, and we kind of laughed. But you still have to trust them that they know their assignments and you can count on them to do the right things.
No doubt. I think the hardest thing for a young defense you got to understand is when you play against an offense, those linemen, those tight ends, they know exactly who they're blocking and how they're blocking them. They're not just going to run by you like in high school and kind of miss and zone out, And then on offense, you got to understand that those guys, they know how to disguise coverages. They know how to disguise and dummy up their stances and their alignments to get you on pressure stunts and blitzes, and they're going to finish plays. Mature bodies that have seen a lot of football, played a lot of football. I mean, there's experience is invaluable, and eventually it just, a lot of times it wins out because they played so much. So, but we feel really good about the young guys. A lot of them have played a bunch. A lot of them are going to play more, and, here it's a very welcome thing.
I feel like this is also a great recruiting pitch for future Miami Hurricanes, for high school prospects. Like, hey, if you come here and you put in the work, we're going to play you. But, yeah, like Mario said, you got to be physically ready for what they're doing at this level, because the college coaches, they're scheming for you. They're saying, which one of these is the weak link? And they coming at you. So our young guys, they got to be physically ready. They got to be mentally ready.
Thing.
All right, so I'll give you a couple guys just around the high school football, and they'll ask me, hey, Joe, how's this guy doing? I go, hey, I'll ask Joshua Trader, Zaquan Patterson, a couple Chaminade Madonna guys.
Joshua Trader, I would say, great blocker. He's shown instances where when he's got in the game, he's blocked. He did drop that pass when he came in. I believe he came in for Jacoby George. Zaquan Patterson, dude, he looks like he's ready to go, but I believe Mario has already talked about, I think, him getting adjusted to the college lifestyle. Let's see what he says.
Madonna guys who really look good and had their moments, and, even you had juniors and seniors going, man, these guys are going to be really good. How are Trader and Patterson doing, Coach?
Yeah, they're both coming along really well. JoJo's reps, they've definitely ramped up, and he's getting more time in there and rotating in there, and it certainly made some good plays and was in the game last week. And actually, we had him open for for an opportunity, and we missed him. We were off. And then Zaquan every week gets better and better. And with both guys, they come from an awesome program. They played big-time football, so they're not going to be fazed or intimidated by any place or any team. And now it's just a matter of reps and fully diving into and them understanding that you got to bust your butt and know the playbook inside and out and change your body and create great football habits, study habits, walk-through habits, discipline habits. Those guys are going to be elite players here at Miami.
All right, and Jalen Rivers, I know we've just beat you up every week about your left tackle coming back. How's he looking out there?
He was full go. He was full go last week. He's full go this week, and he'll be playing on Saturday.
All right.
Hey, look, Jalen Rivers is back. Jalen Rivers is back. We talk about this weekly. If the guy is iffy, there's certain words that Mario will use. If he's playing, he'll full go. He was out there. Welcome back, Jalen Rivers. Shout out to Markel Bell. I think I'm a victim of this. I think just because a kid is highly rated because he's a certain size and speed. You know, he has a body type. You could just plug him into a game and he's going to be good. No, especially at the tackle position. Markel Bell got a lot of experience at the tackle position. He got beat some. He made some good plays. There were some plays where he was blocking good and they called him for different penalties. But overall, I think Rivers being out, one, I'm going to speak for myself, showed me how much this O-line misses Rivers. And then two, it got Markel Bell some great playing time.
Playing on Saturday.
All right. And, hey, Coach, got to ask you, a bye week. I'm guessing you didn't exactly go on a vacation for a week to the Bahamas. Talk about recruiting a little bit. How much bye week recruiting did you guys do?
Every day.
Oh, it's critical. We were all over the map. Certainly foot on the gas and full throttle everywhere throughout South Florida, throughout the country, the state of Florida. Had people on campus. Also, of course, had a chance to develop our football team and get them healed up as well. So the bye weeks really aren't, for coaches, they're not a week of rest. They're actually probably, they eat up and gobble up more hours than anything else while you prepare for the second half of the season. And mind you, you also have a chance to self-assess schematically so you can tweak some of the things you've been doing and have a different presentation for opponents when you play them.
And I wonder, that is the question coming out of this bye. What is this team going to look like fully healthy? He asked about Jalen Rivers. I wonder if he's going to ask about Elijah Austin. But what is this team going to look like? Because everybody says against Florida, Miami looked dominant. Well, Miami had Jalen Rivers, Elijah Austin, Ruben Bain for a play, and Damari Brown. Now, throughout the season, we lost Ruben Bain, we lost Elijah Austin, and we lost Rivers. So we're going to get all those guys back besides Damari Brown. I expect us to look just as good as we did against Florida this week against Louisville.
You can talk about games. I know you can't talk about individuals. What a hell of a game between Chaminade and St. Thomas Aquinas. Chaminade down a couple of quarterbacks, and those son of a guns end up finding a way to win that game. Do you guys still go out to some of those games? You go? I know you only have a certain amount of trips you can make to games.
No, I was there. Yeah, I mean, that's two elite programs going out in a big time way. You know, took my son with me because it's important for him to watch football too. And I don't get any time with him, so I just throw him in the car with me, the Trooper car, and we go and check it out. And but great football, great players, lots of hopefully future Miami Hurricanes.
Hey, Coach, how hard is it to evaluate? These are questions I probably should be asking you in your office while we're jacking some Cuban coffee. But
we're good.
All right. So I always wonder, evaluating local guys, you know, whether Northwestern's playing a Central and American Heritage Plantations playing Central. I mean, they're all playing each other this year. It's been fantastic. The top 5 or 6 teams, it looks like they're all going to end up playing each other. To evaluate their talent level against who they're playing against versus guys from other areas that you've had so much success, including the West Coast.
Well, I don't think you ever penalize a player if they're playing well and maybe their competition isn't a certain level, no matter what part of the country that is, local or far away. So you always have to be very objective, you know, and really assess, okay, if you don't feel great about the competition, then make sure you get them to camp or you're able to watch some type of competitive event where you can get a really good evaluation. When you watch some of the teams you mentioned go against each other and it's speed on speed, power on power, I mean, and competitive natures to the max, man, and everything's on the line, you get a great feel for what type of heart, what type of DNA and physicality and toughness these guys possess. So those are the best, in my opinion, the best games to have a chance to evaluate.
That was a great question. That was an amazing question. Great question.
To have a chance to evaluate.
You know, you're truly one of the guys, I don't know how many guys can say this, that have recruited. When you're at Oregon, you recruited the whole West Coast and got real good at it real quickly, the state of California and up. And then the talent here overall. I always wonder, and the argument's been, the debate goes on forever. It's Texas area, it's Ohio, it's Florida, it's Southern California, loaded because of the population and some great players that have come out of there. All equally obviously important for you if you have a chance to get a really good player. But how does South Florida do when you start looking at areas of best high school football?
Oh, it's off the charts. Certainly. I mean, it's one of the hot pockets of the entire country, and that's why everybody comes down here. And there's super high level coaching and development going on down here, and football is life down here. I mean, guys are playing it since they're knee high, and they go, man, and it's their goal, it's their dream to continue playing at the collegiate and NFL level. So it's off the charts, and that's why we used to come wherever I always came down to South Florida, because again of the caliber of football, the caliber of human being and competitor that you'd be getting.
Hey, Coach, also, I wanted to ask you, you've been down double-digit, crazy the last two games, going to Virginia Tech or Virginia Tech here and then going out to Berkeley and being able to come back. Obviously, you're playing with fire for this to continue. So what kind of message do you tell your team? You guys have been so good in the fourth quarter, and you do have a switch. Now, don't get me wrong. There's a switch that goes, okay, we're real good in the fourth quarter. Let's go get them. But how do you stay away from that and get off to better starts?
I think it's a happy medium. Like, I think it's good to know that your team in the fire won't flinch. They're not going to be scared. They know they can come back. But also, you don't want to play with fire over and over again, right? So you want to get off to a fast start playing Miami football.
Get off to better starts.
Well, you go right at it. And luckily we have some real alpha leaders that can carry on the message as well. But you put it front and center. You go right to reality and you don't sugarcoat it. And, fortunately you're allowed to coach. You're capable of coaching even harder after a win than anything else, especially when you don't perform to the level that you want to perform to. Joe, we got a lot to prove, man. We got a ton to prove, and it starts with the simplicity of high-level execution and not allowing the details of technique and fundamentals to deteriorate as the season goes on, because every team's got really damn good players. And if you think you're the only team that has good players, you're going to get your ass kicked. I mean, that's the bottom line, So from discipline to detail to effort to physicality, I mean, everything, there's no such thing as a little thing. They're all big things, and you got to have them all if you want to be 1-0 every single week, you know? And so it's a matter of living and dying by urgency. You know what I mean? Turn it up every single day in everything you do and find a way to be 1-0 every single day.
Were there certain things specifically, or you said we started this interview, you pretty much went over everything with your team, but were there any, is it meeting with your coordinators first to tell them, hey, I'd like to see this, or I'd like to see more of this guy or that guy, or is it a little bit of everything?
Yeah, Joe, it's absolutely everything. We could go on for hours and hours of the breakdown of what we've done, the self-scout of things that we probably need to change, things that we need to tweak, things that we need to throw out, things that we need to add. Then personnel assessments, who needs to play more, who needs to play less, who's got to turn it up, who's got to be a better player for us and got to stop BSing and really play like lights out all the time, right? Don't pick and choose when you're going to be playing to your best, the best of your ability. As a coaching staff, every single decision, every play call, anything we do in terms of the middle eight, clock management, in terms of situational football. I mean, you want to talk about top to bottom analysis.
Wow.
It's time consuming, but it's well worth it. And we have an unbelievable set of GAs and analysts that just pump out information, man. That's like that back room's like the land of the misfit toys, man. Just a bunch of freaks. They're working all day.
Yeah. Handpicked.
Listen, this team is going to give us a lot of information versus Louisville. You're playing a worthy opponent. You're coming off of a bye. We're going to learn a lot about our coaches, because if our coaches, one thing I'll say about Cal is they use their bye week to perfection. They put in a new they did the bringing in the backup quarterback for the run that was put in, the couple plays they put in just for us. we're going to see if our coaches is able to look at Louisville, exploit them, and then also self-scout ourselves and see if we scheme or do things different. I think this Louisville is going to give us a lot of information about our coaches and players.
Handpicked, all handpicked by you, and I know how you feel about every part of the program and how important it is, not just your coaches and your players, but behind the scenes from sports science to your recruiting department. The whole thing is obviously very, very important in today's college football. Coach, thank you, man. I really appreciate you coming on, spending some time. Good luck against Louisville. 12 o'clock start. You like those? We all right with a noon start? Let's get it started. Got to be a lot better than that late night on the West Coast.
Yep.
Yeah, we like getting up and hitting the ground running. We practice in the morning, so it certainly suits us. And how it is about football. It takes you an entire week before you get to play again. In this case, it's been 2 weeks. So we play a great, great, great football team that's got a lot of good players. And last year they beat us, so we got a lot to prove to ourselves and a lot to work on. So looking forward to a great week of practice.
Mario, thank you. Really appreciate you coming on as always.
I said it just a minute ago. Real quick recap: Jalen Rivers is back. Mario said he's full go. Over the bye week, we did a lot of self-scouting. And then Mario wants to see these young Bulls, these young players, not only get in the game, but make an impact. Listening to this interview and listening to what Mario said, listening to his message, this Louisville game is going to tell us a lot, because this is a team that has a quarterback who I don't know if Mario recruited him, but he was at Oregon while Mario was there. You got a running back, so that's going to be a little motivation for him. You got Ja'Cory Brooks. That's going to be a little motivation for him playing against Miami. You got Isaac Brown, kid from Homestead. You got a team that's going to be ready to knock off the big dogs and say under Coach Braum that they're 2-0 against Miami. That's what they want to do. That's what they're coming to do. They also got Jaleel Skinner, Don Chaney on that Louisville squad. I don't think any of them have been playing that much as of late, but they're going to want to get this W. I'm telling you, I will learn a lot from this team. I will learn a lot from this team by the way we come out versus Louisville. Now, I do want to leave y'all with this question. First of all, hashtag beat Louisville in the comment section if you made it this far. If you're a real one and you made it about 27 minutes in, hashtag beat Louisville in the comments so I know who stuck with me throughout the video. My question would be, do we judge Miami harsher than we do other teams? Because, and this is just my perspective, I watch us play California and I'm like, maybe our defense sucks. We just gave up over 30 points to this California team. We're not tackling good. Maybe our defense is ass. These are the thoughts that are going through my mind. But then we don't play this week, so I get to watch a lot of football, and I already watch a lot of football, but like I said, I watched Mississippi State put up 30 on Georgia. I watch teams go up and down the field. I'm looking for who is a dominant defense, and I'm not seeing it. USC, Penn State, both of them going up and down against each other. So I ask you guys, do we judge Miami too harsh? Jadis Richards, D'Hani Hill, they give up a play. We're like, oh, and I'm not saying everybody, but a lot of people are like, they suck. We need corners. But then I watch Ohio State, Denzel Burke, who some people thought was going to be a first-round draft pick. and he's getting burnt like crisp. I'm watching Alabama corners get beat deep. I'm watching people get beat deep. So I'm asking, do we judge our own Miami Hurricanes harsher than we do other teams? Because after this week, I found myself asking, in today's age, with the athletes that are on offense, with the rules that are predicated towards offense, is there a such thing as being dominant on defense to where teams aren't scoring, to where we're not giving up big plays? You guys take that to where you want to take it. Answer the question. Hashtag beat Louisville in the comments. Let me know you made it this far. I appreciate you. I'm out. Peace.